effort to reach more of our parents as well as our community members. We know with busy schedules, we want to take advantage of YouTube to present these live chats. If you have any questions throughout the chat, please do not hesitate to send it our way through YouTube. We will do our very best to answer your questions as we move through the chat. Welcome today to Garfield Elementary School. I'm happy that we're able to talk further about some of the initiatives with inquiry-based learning in our strategic plan. Today we are looking at makerspaces that have been introduced here to Garfield Elementary School. The last time we met, we were over at Claggett talking about the makerspace at the middle school. Our goal is to introduce makerspaces to every building in the district, including our high school, and that's going to be a phased process. So the teachers who are embarking on this initiative this year early on are really our pioneers that are going to help direct our district as we implement district-wide. At this time, I'd like to introduce Garfield's principal, Karen McGinty.
Hi Erin, thanks for inviting us today, and we're really excited to highlight some of the wonderful things that are happening at Garfield School. Many people in our community are familiar with Garfield as they may have gone to school here, being that our building is 107 years old. It has been here that long. Looking at today's Garfield, where are we at and how are we supporting kids? We came up as a team. I have a team of teachers here who are really our movers and shakers and innovators at Garfield, and they're going to walk us through what makes Garfield so special. And when we sat and we brainstormed, we came up with 3 areas when we're looking at educating the whole child at Garfield School, and of course across Medina City Schools, but particularly at Garfield. These 3 areas came to mind, and I have a visual up on the screen of them that we have here at our chat today. We want to make sure that in today's world we are honoring the social and emotional support for children, helping them to feel part of a school community in a supportive environment where teachers and routines and functions support children being most successful at school, and also instructional support, providing kids not only those hands-on experiences, those collaborative experiences, but really rich and really authentic instruction that will carry them into 21st century learning. So today we're going to start off with our first initiative that actually encompasses all 3 of these areas, and that would be our makerspace. And we are really proud of this innovation at Garfield. And I'm going to turn things over first to Ms. Julia Gall, who is our media specialist here at Garfield School and across the district, who has helped us to really get this initiative going, and then she will introduce the other members of our team and they can tell you a little bit about the power of makerspace.
Thanks, Karen. Makerspace is something that's so special, and I've done it through my career as a media specialist, so it's just so near and dear to the heart. And the people at Garfield have been amazing to work with, because you're going to hear from some of them, but they've just jumped in full force, and it's just been a joy to be a part of. So as we talk about social, emotional, and the supportive parts of the instructional, and just having these kids be a whole person, it's definitely, makerspace is just all-encompassing with that. When we do makerspace, it's a place where you can make space for collaboration, where you can make space to have good relationships, and you can make space to just partner with your peers and your teachers to make projects and also build relationships. So we've been so excited at Garfield to see how that's working, and across the district too, because there are, the ground level work is going on in all the buildings right now, at least in elementary and going through middle school too. So very exciting. One thing that we see with the kids is that they learn that it's okay to make mistakes, that trial and error are really a part of life and a part of learning. And so when they learn it in a place where there's no grading, then they are able to do that in the classroom. And I know that some of the teachers will touch on that, but it's amazing to see how they realize they can persevere and develop those character traits of persevering, and then they can carry that over in whatever aspect of life, because they realize it might be hard at first, but they're going to get it. So very fun. One thing when they come into the makerspace, they make, they create, they do things with their peers, their teachers, and then afterwards we get into a reflection circle and we ask certain questions. So we start with compliments, and kids are able to give compliments to kids, and teachers are able to give compliments to the other kids. And then we ask questions like, what was hard, and what was easier than you thought it was going to be, and how can you use this in your real life, and what did you learn about somebody else? I mean, honestly, as educators, I think sometimes we feel like wow, we couldn't have said that better ourselves, and one kid will compliment a kid who really needed that compliment, and we couldn't have made that happen other than the kid was really looking forward to giving that compliment to the other kid and helping to encourage them. So we're really excited to see how that's built the kids up in just encouragement. So we've also seen kids become teachers. So the kids, the older kids or the younger kids, honestly, will learn something, a skill of a robot or something that's difficult, and then they'll go in and they'll actually teach the other kids how to do that, and they become peer teachers. So that gives them a lot of just clout in knowing that they can do something other than just learning. They know that they can become a teacher and that they're special in that way. So we've seen that across the board from kindergarten through 5th grade, and it's something that's really, really special and near and dear to our hearts. So Makerspace is amazing, and if you haven't gotten to see it in action, I hope you get to do it with your kids and just put things out on the table and create at home, or and just be able to know that the Makerspace is an incredible place for your kids to be able to understand life lessons in a really, really awesome way. So we're going to hear from some of our teachers now. I think Tiffany Cosman is up next, and she's going to talk about the amazing things that she's doing in her classroom.
Thank you, Julia. We have utilized Makerspace in the kindergarten classroom in a variety of ways. We have started our units by allowing the students to research together in small groups using traditional methods like books or media from websites in the library or on iPads and technology. And then we've worked together in the Makerspace to build an understanding of things like seasons, animals and their habitats, and also maps within our Makerspace. So the great part about Makerspace is that it does allow students to use both traditional learning and then extend it in a more creative way using technology and a variety of materials, here in the Makerspace, and then also work together in groups even at a very young age, such as kindergarten. And as Julia said, it's just such a supportive environment. Teachers are able to share success and then also share their challenges as well. And Kelly McLaren-Olin will now talk about what she does with Makerspace.
I am working with groups of kids to start out with. We started planning how can we get this information out to our students and our teachers and everyone in the building. So we decided to create something called STEAM Team. And STEAM Team eventually will be the whole building. But what we're starting out with is small groups of 3rd and 5th graders who I'm meeting with, and there are a lot of new technology opportunities for students at Garfield and within the district. It's happening a lot of places already. But for them to learn green screen technology or stop motion animation, we have Sphero robots, and just things that they haven't necessarily been exposed to yet. So a small group of 3rd graders, a small group of 4th graders, and a small group of 5th graders are meeting weekly and learning and exploring these new technologies, how and why they work. And then they are providing guidance and leadership throughout the building to teachers as well as students so that their knowledge of the technology spreads out quickly throughout the entire building. And the amazing thing is it happened pretty organically. As soon as teachers saw what was going on here and saw the opportunities and noticed some of the kids, the older kids, working on these technologies, they started talking to kids and asking them what they knew, and the kids were then asked to help them without my even being involved, which was fabulous. So what we're doing now is we're introducing new technologies every 2 weeks or so that when classes or kids have mastered something, we can move them on to a new technology. It may be based on what a classroom teacher is working on. A lot of times it's based on their curriculum and what they want to learn and do with it. Or it may be just the kids exploring the technology, learning about it, collaborating together, kids with kids, teachers with kids, and figuring out what they want to do and what they want to express and learn through that technology. So it's kind of fun. One thing I love about Makerspace is the opportunity for kids to make choices. So a lot of times they do what they're asked to do, but when they come in here, they're able to choose what they want to do, so they have the opportunity to choose areas of strength and show what they know through their areas of strength. So I think that's been an important observation, so that kids leave here always feeling good, and teachers a lot of times leave here amazed at what their kids are able to do and how they can show what they know through what they do here. The next phase in Makerspace with STEAM Team that we're doing is to open this up to kindergarten, first and second grade, small groups, small teams in January. So every grade level will have a small team, and then it's going to branch out so that all the kids belong. And finally, a new aspect that we're talking about is for kids to start to earn badges when they learn a new technology, or classrooms to start to earn new badges, so that everybody sees that they're learning difficult and challenging things and building their self-confidence together as one unified body or building. And it's very powerful for the entire Garfield community, I believe. So I'm going to turn it over to...
I'm going to come back, because what I really want to talk about is we're at a little bit of a disadvantage at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that we don't have the kids here. And we talked a little bit about wanting to show videos and stuff and didn't know how that would merge with this presentation. But I want to talk to you a little bit, when we went and visited a local school district that had started Makerspace last winter around this time, I walked away saying, I think this is where we begin. We begin by getting kids at our school together and focusing on that social emotional piece, building that sense of community at Garfield School where kids are coming into this space and tinkering and making and sharing and exploring together. Let's just let it be an open forum. Well, it's taken off where the teachers then pull in the instruction to it. And we're finding kids who did a verb rap last week with the green screen, and they sent it to me, and these 2 little second graders are rapping about verbs with the green screen behind them, and they did the technology. Tiffany's kindergarten class last week used a Sphero ball and created a map because it was part of their social studies unit of the downstairs floor, and kids were taking the Sphero programmed on an iPad and having it travel on a map that they made to the gym from their classroom. We had another, Tiffany's class also did animal characteristics as a part of their science study, and they created, it's wonderful, parents can try it at home, it's called Chatterpix. It's an app, and it's so fun. And you use Chatterpix, and you draw. If you've seen that Amazon commercial on TV with the boxes that sing, it's that app. You draw where you want on your picture that you've drawn. You draw on the computer after you've taken a picture of it where you want the mouth to be, and you can actually make an image sing for you or use your voice and animate it. And the kids did that with features of butterflies and different insects that they were studying. So they're taking this very open-ended forum and turning it into a way that's engaging for kids to apply the learning that they're doing in the classroom. So it's safe and supportive also. So it's all coming together here, and we're seeing big changes across the building in terms of the level of engagement of students and how they're treating one another because they're working closely together in this environment. And there's a lot of other reasons why that's happening, and we're going to explore those next with our PBIS program and our hands-on curriculum. We'll talk about both of those when we come back.
A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do, it's a verb. Yeah, listen up close, here's what we'll do. I'll say a verb and you say it too. Now when we're playing, when you say it, I want you to do it too. Run, 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 run. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you do it, then you do it. If you do, it's a verb. Yeah, listen up close, here's what we'll do. I'll say a verb and you say it too. Now when we're playing, when you say it, I want you to do it too. Eat, 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 eat.
So I'm going to turn the discussion over to Katie Bober.
Hi Medina, I'm Katie Bober. I'm a 4th grade teacher here at Garfield, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our new math curriculum. Last school year, we set out to find a new elementary math curriculum for the entire district. I was part of the team that got to investigate different curriculums, and when we're thinking about what kids need to know in elementary school and where their math background is going to take them to find a job one day, we're looking at different skills than what we were looking at 20 years ago. Kids nowadays need to be able to collaborate and work together and build that emotional, social piece. And that's what we found in Bridges. So our district, Medina, decided to adopt a new curriculum called Bridges. There are two parts to the curriculum, and the first one is right behind me, and it is called Number Corner. I'm sure if you have children in elementary school, you've heard about Number Corner. It's a highlight of our day. Every elementary building, K to 5, is doing a Number Corner every day. It's about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's completely separate from the actual curriculum we do in the classroom. It kind of is student-led, where a student is standing in front of their peers, and they're calling on students, they're asking questions, they're leading a group discussion. Talk about student leadership right there. It's building confidence within our students, and they're able to collaborate and just feel really good about themselves and their math capabilities. It's really cool too because this program spirals a lot. So Number Corner is working on concepts that's very different from what they're working on in their hour math lesson for the day. But it's going to build on concepts that are going to be coming in future units. For example, we started out in September working with money in 4th grade. When I look back to now in our Unit 3 in our math program, we're studying decimals, and my kids are doing phenomenal because they had a little bit of that background back in September Number Corner. It's spiraling, so our kids are not forgetting those major concepts that Ohio is telling us that our students need to know. One thing I really love is when my kids are raising their hands saying, "Can I be our Number Corner leader today?" Because they love standing in front, they love taking the spotlight and being able to lead on a class discussion. Now, aside from Number Corner, our actual math program, Bridges, is phenomenal. It is working with students as they collaborate with each other to solve problems. We're not talking about solving problems, 20 problems of the same kind. We're talking about really authentic, deep, real-world problem solving. Kids are being able to communicate with each other, use great math vocabulary, and really get their points across. They're not just learning the curriculum, but they're being able to demonstrate it in multiple ways. That's another cool thing about our Bridges program, especially here at Garfield, because every student can feel very successful, but they might all be solving the problems in different ways. But when they come to that same answer, and they want to show their answer to their peers, wow, as you can see their confidence being built right then and there. It's really a cool program, and it's exciting to see students who could struggle in some ways, but you present a different way to solve the problem, and they're excited to show it to you. One part of our Bridges, too, is we have this part called Workplaces. And it's exactly where kids are working together with a partner, and they're using math vocabulary, working on skills that we are using in the classroom, to play a game. And it's fun to walk around and watch them as they're using and helping each other in building those 21st century skills we need of communication and collaboration with each other. It's so important for our kids here at Garfield to build that, to feel comfortable, and to have confidence in our curriculum. So I'm excited about Bridges. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about it too. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen McGinty, principal at Garfield School, and we are exploring Garfield and all of the things that make Garfield such an incredible school. Our last stop on our tour today is our PBIS Swarm Store. And PBIS is a great initiative that you may have heard of across the country, really, that's helping kids be successful at school and focused on positive behaviors. I'm going to turn our discussion over to Gretchen Newton, who is our administrative intern here at Garfield School and has really helped get this initiative off and running here at Garfield School. And she'll talk to you a little bit today.
So we are super excited about PBIS at Garfield School, and across the district we have 3 expectations that all students are taught, K through 12 actually. And our 3 expectations are to be respectful, be responsible, and be ready. So if you can see our poster over there, these are posted in every area of the school. Teachers worked really hard when we first implemented PBIS to come up with a matrix that laid out expectations, behaviors to meet each of those criteria in every area of the school. So you'll see posters in the classroom, you'll see them in the bathrooms even, you'll see them the media center, makerspace, all of the different encores, even the cafeteria and recess. And the goal is to be very clear with what we expect of students through PBIS. Sometimes PBIS can get a bad rep because teachers hear or parents hear, is it only about positive? And it's not. PBIS is about setting really clear expectations and following through with really clear consequences, both positive and negative. So if a student is doing what you expect them to do, you can reward them with a scan, which is one of the methods we use for student recognition. Or if a student isn't meeting the behavior, you can redirect with common language and even consequences that help the student learn what to do better next time. So we are in our school store right now, and as I mentioned, we use scans. We actually operate with a program called PBIS Rewards, which allows students to use a digital economy to earn scans for doing the correct behavior. And if you can kind of look around, we have a lot of different items that students can purchase when they build up those scans in the school store. We also do things like raffles. We partner with a couple different community members like the library and South of the Square to help put on some big raffles, and we even took students to the Indians game last year as a PBIS rewards incentive. When we're talking about supporting that whole child, PBIS really does that for us. Looking at the social and emotional learning curriculum, actually Ohio has standards for social and emotional learning. PBIS allows us to do that. We use our behavior data for the entire school to guide which standards we teach children. Last year we focused a lot on physical aggression and making sure that we are providing students with strategies to redirect, strategies to identify emotions in themselves and others, and how to respond appropriately. We saw great success in our behavior data school-wide. PBIS also allows us to recognize students that need more support in that Tier 2 level in small group. So this year, Medina has really been working on exploring Tier 2. We have implemented social skills groups. We've been working on check-in, check-out, which is an intervention that pairs students up with coaches. And it has also been a great success in our building. The nice part about this is it also supports that environmental structure for students. Teachers K through 5 are using that same language, and honestly, these students are going to hear the language all the way into middle school and high school. So it provides that structure and support that students crave and really thrive when they have. Finally, it allows teachers to operate and do their instruction well because students are engaged, students are collaborating with those social emotional learning supports, and they have the opportunity to really engage in that curriculum because of the behavior supports that have been in place. So PBIS is something that we're really proud of. We currently have an initiative going on right now with the kindness tree. We're trying to light up Garfield with kindness this December. It is just something that teachers have bought into, students have bought into, and we really encourage you to ask your students, whatever school they go to, how they meet the 3 R's every day.
So thank you everyone for joining us today, to all of our staff members who helped to present a little bit about Garfield School and what makes Garfield so great. The slogan around town is "Greatness begins at Garfield," and you can certainly see why here. Working to support the whole child and give them rich, collaborative, supportive experiences. So thank you so much for joining us today.